Today we're going to focus on 4 things. What is LeadGen OnDemand and why does it matter? We'll move into a live demo, and then we'll talk about the next steps and frequently asked questions. So to the first question, what is LeadGen OnDemand? Well, it's a one-stop shop that custom designs, produces, and distributes marketing messages to your work comp prospects. It's complete with emails, printed postcards, and bifold mailers, and we pay for your usage. That includes printing, postage, email service, everything. And at the end of the day, you're going to be able to, within just 5 minutes, create and send tailored, enticing messages that will allow you to attract new clients. So you might be wondering, how did we know that you wanted this? Well, because you told us. Every year we send out a survey. And last year we asked, would an online marketing tool allowing you to create customized campaigns help? And overwhelmingly, you said yes. So we knew how important a tool like this would be for you, and we wanted to build it better. We think of this as a partnership. We're going after new business together. 2 important things. Number 1, you're going to be able to personalize. So this message comes from you. You're going to be able to demonstrate to your prospects that you're the very best choice. And customized. That means you choose themes, you choose industries, you choose showcase photos. You get to differentiate your offerings and expertise. And your prospect list could come from trade shows, list brokers, magazines, or anywhere. But as you know, it takes a lot to turn a list of prospects into leads, and we're giving you those tools. As you can see, this is going far beyond a logo insert. Other carriers offer limited features. Mostly they have to do with inserting your logo in carrier-focused material and downloading the result. And that means, of course, you have to pay for your own outreach and printing. Nothing that a carrier does is as customizable as what I'm going to show you today with LeadGen OnDemand. Everybody else basically stops after the co-branding. ICW Group is going to allow you to pay, we pay for your distribution. We store your list of prospects. We give you thousands of options to customize. And most importantly, we promote the agent. We developed this tool in response to what you said, and therefore we're going to meet your needs better than anyone. We're going to be that true partner that says, how do we make more money for you? And then we're going to give you a tool to do so. And it doesn't hurt that this is pretty well timed, considering struggles to build and maintain a pipeline during COVID when you can't even go to a trade show or an office visit. So how are you going to access LeadGen OnDemand? Well, it's really easy. You're going to visit leadgen.icwgroup.com to register and log in. There's going to be a link at the bottom of the Agency Resource Center, and it's going to lead you to the first screen where you'll create an account. Everybody on this call is pre-authorized. In fact, unlimited contacts are pre-authorized at your agency. You just type in your email address here, choose a password here and here, and you're in. After you've set up your account, future logins will be even easier, just the 2 blanks for your email and your password. And at the end of the webinar, of course, would be a very great time to log in. It's leadgen.icwgroup.com. There's going to be a button that says new to the site, which is you. Click on that new to the site, and you'll be at this screen right here. It's accessible, it's simple, and it's one step. And remember, everybody at your agency is already pre-authorized. Okay, now we're going to start to get ready for our live demo, but I want to take a quick break to see if we have any questions. Jamie?
Yes, Mona, first question up. Just to confirm, ICW is paying all printing and postage costs. Is that correct?
Yes.
Great. Are we limited to the number of team members who can register on the site?
No, you're not. It's unlimited. And the reason we did this is because there's a lot of different people in your agency that might be involved in marketing like this. It could be a marketing person, but it also could be a producer. It could be a CSR. It could be uh, anybody. So everybody has access.
Okay, great. I think we're ready for our live demo.
Okay, let's move on. We're going to go through some scenarios and okay, sorry about that, just a minute. Okay, so here's my account, and we're going to say in this example, I've already uploaded my headshot. I've already uploaded my agency logo. I've already filled out all the details of my profile, including my name, my cell phone, and everything else. And I've already got a prospect list loaded. So I'm going to take it from the next step, and I'm going to say I've got two different ways that I can choose what kind of messages I want to send out. One, let's say today I know I want to send a postcard, or today I want to send a mailer, or today I want to send out some emails. But if I'm not quite sure, I can click on message themes and it gives me some options. Do I want to focus on fraud prevention or risk management or lowering costs? So I can choose one of these 6 themes and it's going to give me postcard options and mailer options and email options, and I can filter down that way. But today I want to select a postcard, so I'm going to do that. I've got an array of postcards, a lot of choices here, so I'm going to pick the one that speaks to me. And to me, I think save money, lower your XMOD looks good to me. So I'm going to click on that one. And when this loads, it's dragging in all my profile info, and it's going to populate a sample of what it's going to look like along the left, and it's going to populate a worksheet that I'm going to fill out on the right to customize it. Okay, so here are all my options, and as you can see, it's showing me the front and the back on the left, and it's showing me all the forms, all the options I have on my right. So I can choose a campaign name if I want, something that means something to me. For now, the date is fine, and I'm going to select an industry. So I really want this to speak to the people I'm going after, and in this case, it's private schools. So I'm going to choose childcare. And it's going to take that information. It's going to start by giving me a default photo in the childcare industry. And here it is. So if I like that, great. If I don't like that and I want other choices, I can select new images and see if I like anything better. But for the time being, I like this one. Okay, what do I want to highlight about work comp? What do I really think is going to entice people? And I'm going to pick 3 to 5 options here. And these are going to populate in the white space that you see. So I want to focus on HR advice. That's our HR on demand, as you probably know. I want to focus on anti-fraud. I want to focus on telemedicine, and medical providers are important to me. Now I am in California, so I'm pretty well known. My agency is, so I'm going to say my company's been in business for 75 years in California. And whatever your state is, your state will populate here instead. Okay, so now I'm going to choose what expertise I want to highlight. This is going to go on the back in this blank area right here. So I'm going to focus on superior injured worker care, focus on health and safety, and I really want to hit telemedicine hard, so I'm going to choose it again on the back. And now I'm going to refresh and show you how all those changes made it into my postcard. And as you can see, the 4 bullets I picked populated here. And those 3 other bullets that I populated focused here. And I'm going to enlarge this a little bit so that you can see over 75 years serving California, and my agency is your experts in childcare. And here's all my information, my headshot, my logo, my information, my mobile number, which was the most important to me, et cetera, et cetera. All right, so the next thing for me to do is pick my list. Well, I told you that I've got a list in my profile already, so I'm going to choose it now. I'm going to select it, and great, it was added successfully. So now I'm ready to go. Here's one little area. I could send this on behalf of myself, but if my coworker or my supervisor has registered also and they have asked me to do it for them, I can do that. I can put in their name and their contact information instead of my own. So I like all this. I don't want to make any more changes. I'm ready to review and send. Okay, it's giving me one more option to review my front and my back. And I like what I see, so I'm going to approve it, and I'm ready to send mail. Okay, here's my item, and it's showing me all the details about my item, and it's showing me, wow, a $1,700 value to you, and I'm paying $0. Well, that's kind of cool, because when you think about the cost of copywriting and design and production, including the printing, including the postage, and all the time that you'd spend to manage that, it's quite valuable indeed. So if I click complete order, which I'm not going to do right this second, because I'm going to show you an email and I'm going to do it there instead. When I click complete order, two things are going to happen. Number one, I'm going to get a pop-up that says thanks for your order. And the other thing that's going to happen is I'm going to get an email in my Outlook that says the same thing with the confirmation. So I'm going to pause before I go into emails and say, does anybody have any questions?
Yes, Mona, we have a few. Are we limited to the number of prospects that we can upload?
You're not limited in the number of prospects you can upload. There may be some discussions if we start getting into really, really high numbers, like, you know, a million, then we might have to have a discussion with you and your BDU about the industry and how successful we think you'll be.
Great. Is there a standard template to use for the prospect list you upload?
You read my mind. There absolutely is, and I'm going to show that to you. In fact, let's do that before we hit emails.
Okay, and then we can continue
Janie,
with
I'm
the
going to pause.
questions.
Yeah, okay, let's do
Sure.
that. It's under account. And here's where you'll fill out your profile information. Here's where you'll see your order history, had you placed any orders. And remember, I didn't click finalize on my order, so that's why mine didn't show up. And here's my prospect lists. So the very first time this happens, the very first time I upload a list, I'm going to have to download the template first. And it's going to download a CSV that has columns in particular orders. And you can't move the columns, you can't change the columns, you can't delete them. The only options you have is fill out either mailing addresses or email addresses or both. And when you upload it, it's going to ask you, I happen to have the downloaded template already. So when I upload the list, it's going to ask me which file do I want to upload. And here's a file that I did already. I know that's in the proper CSV form, and I get to name it test list. And now it's going to say, it wants to know which fields to check. So do I have mailing addresses? Do I have email addresses? Or do I have both? If you check mailing addresses, great. It's not going to check for email addresses. If you check email addresses, it's not going to check if you have physical addresses. And if you have both, it's going to check everything. So you can't have any blanks. And if you have a row that doesn't have a first name and a last name, you'll have to substitute something like work comp buyer. But of course, personalization is going to make you much more successful. So it's way better for you if you have first name, last name. And I have both on this list, so I'm going to select it, and it was added successfully. Okay, Jamie, let's see what else we've got.
Alrighty, where do we get lead lists?
Oh, that's a great question. So good places to check are associations that you're already a member of, industries that you sponsor, trade shows that you attend, or in these days, trade shows you used to attend, magazines, industry magazines for the types of industries you're going after, list brokers. All of those would be good places to start.
Okay, great. And can this link with HubSpot?
I don't know what that is. Well, I don't know what that means. Sorry.
Okay, we can ask for further clarification. If we don't get that by the end of the webinar, we can certainly respond by tomorrow. Will this webinar slideshow be sent to us?
So I believe, and this is my first webinar, I believe that the video gets sent to you. And since today is the last of 4, I think it goes out tomorrow.
Okay, perfect. And if there's not an industry we want to choose, is there a generic version?
Yes, so let's go through that when I said I would do the email, so let's do that. And here I am in my emails, and again, I've got a big robust array here, and I'm going to choose save money, reduce claims. Okay, so you see it's starting to look familiar. I've got my options on the right, and I've got my visual on the left, and I'm going to leave industry blank. So if I'm satisfied with this picture of an apple orchard, great. If not, I'm going to select a different one. And since I didn't narrow it down by industry, I'm literally going to have hundreds and hundreds of options to choose, and I can pick something that's as generic as I want it to be. And it is literally loading several hundred images here. That's why it's taking so long. So I know this isn't necessarily generic, but for the time being, I'm just going to choose a guy on a ladder. And again, my same choice is I don't have to choose my specialty in the state, and today I'm not going to. I noticed that it didn't populate the photo here, so I'm going to make sure to refresh the image. Okay, and there's my image with the guy on the ladder. So I'm going to ignore the state stuff. I still want it to come on my own behalf. I still like all my own headshot and agency. And I remember that I have to select a list. So I now have 2 lists in there. So here's the list I'm choosing, and I'm selecting it. Success, great. And I'm ready to go. So the only thing that's different about emails is that I get to choose when. And this is Eastern Standard Time. So I wanted to go out on Saturday when I know that people are going to be at their computers, not too busy to read things. Maybe I think on Saturday they'll have a little more time. And 9:20 in the morning, Eastern Time, that sounds good to me. So I'm done. And same thing, I'm going to review and send. By the way, I can change my email subject here, but I don't want to. I like this one. Has your carrier helped you reduce workers' comp claims 18%? I like that. Okay, reviewing and sending. I'm ready to go, and I'm going to send my email. Okay, so here's my cart, and here's what I just did, and I'm going to delete this guy because I don't want to actually send a postcard to myself. And now I'm down to just this email and this email from my test yes the other day, and I'm going to complete the order. And as you can see, I'm going to get a pop-up that says, thank you. It tells me that my processing has begun and I'm ready to go. And at the same time, I also got an Outlook message in my email that told me the same information. So now I have a record of it. I could print the receipt, but I don't need to because I know that it just came to my Outlook. Okay, so last thing I want to show you is the how to use button. And if you forget everything I've said today, I want you to remember this, the how to use, because it's got everything you need to refresh your memory as to how to do all these things. First of all, here's where you phone a friend if you get stuck, but we tried to walk you through every little detail about this, and they're short and sweet videos, site overview and navigation right here. How to set up your profile right here. We're going to have to ask your IT department for some technical adjustments, and that has to do with making sure that your emails get in credibly and successfully to your prospects' inboxes. This video here is about uploading a prospect list. We've got a video on customizing your marketing materials and one on reviewing your history and how to see your results. And some frequently asked questions to give you a little hint. Okay, Jamie, how are we doing on questions?
We have a few more here. How do you track results?
Good question and great segue, thank you. So this button here brings you home. And at the bottom here, I've got activity and reporting. And here are my email statistics. I guess the new ones didn't populate just yet because these look like old tests that I did. And here's the sent, here's the delivered, the opens, the clicks, the unsubscribed, and the failed. And I can export the whole file if I want to. Direct mail, obviously we can't tell you who opened it, but we'll be able to tell you when it mailed, and we'll be able to tell you what was unmailable, what were bad addresses, but it won't get sent back to you. By the way, direct mail ships directly. In other words, it doesn't ship to your office and then you have to do something about it. It's going to get shipped out for you.
Perfect. If two agents upload the same prospects, are the duplicate prospects removed?
No, they're not. So the good news is, in the unlikely event that two agents in the same city and state with the exact same prospect on their list on the same day are sending out a postcard, we still have 34 different choices of what that person was going to send. So the likelihood of one prospect getting the same email or postcard or bifold mailer as another, it's going to be fairly unlikely, but if that were to happen, yes, the prospect would get two postcards.
Okay, and are our lists shared with others?
So they're not shared with the BDUs and we don't sell them. The way that I'm going to use them is I'm just going to run them against your submissions, basically to track our mutual success.
Okay, and then our final question up is, how long are the lists saved for?
They're saved indefinitely. So until you remove a list, it's not going anywhere, although I would caution you that's not necessarily the best practice. People move, people change emails, and it's best to, certainly every 90 days, if not before, you should revisit your list. You should run it through a quality checker and remove the old and re-upload it.
Okay. Couple more have come in if we have time here. Can this be sent to a LinkedIn campaign?
So I think what the agent might mean here is that you have a list that you got from LinkedIn and it has either physical addresses or email addresses. And if so, yes. So the CSV template is a standard looking CSV template. It's got about 8 columns and one of the columns says email. So you would just cut and paste the emails into that one column and then you can use that list for email.
Great. Last question up, is there a limit on the number of postcards that can be sent out?
So that's a great question. And theoretically, no. However, like I said, if you start uploading, hundreds of thousands of names, we're probably going to have a conversation with you and your BDU and talk about, your prospecting and your we all want you to be successful. So we're just going to have that conversation about who are you targeting and how likely are we going to be able to get that customer successfully.
Okay, great. We are wrapped up for questions, Mona.
Okay, great. I'm going to move on. Just a couple more. Access. So as I mentioned, everybody's pre-authorized based on the address we have on file for you. So if you're not getting communications from us directly, let your BDU know. We need to add you, and then then you too will be pre-authorized. And as we also mentioned, there's unlimited registrations for your agency. So tell your colleagues it's come one, come all. And if for some reason we need to change your email address or your company name, we can do that. They're locked down to you for security, but let your BDU know and we'll take care of the rest. We talked about prospecting, and I just want to clarify that this is geared towards new prospects in our primary states, and our primary states are listed on the FAQs if you don't know what they are. Technology-wise, we're going to recommend that you stick with Chrome, Safari, Firefox, or Edge. We're going to recommend that you ask your IT department to whitelist this URL here as a trusted site. And as I mentioned, regarding deliverability of your outbound emails, we're going to ask your IT department to make a couple of tweaks. As soon as you log in, you'll see the screen that will allow you to give that information to your IT department. Complete instructions for your IT department are in that how to use page. And lastly, as normal, you contact your BDU for just about any question, or you can email us directly at agentleadgen@icwgroup.com. We've got a page on the Agency Resource Center, but I'm sure every single one of you is going to hop out of this webinar and go ahead and log right in at leadgen.icwgroup.com.